All righty. Ladies and gentlemen, good Thursday evening. As always, I am your host, Casey Halpern, and I'm thrilled to be joined by diehard Giants fan, Twitter superstar, Stephie Smalls. Smalls, welcome to the stream. How are we feeling tonight?
We're feeling good. We're better than the last couple of days. We're a little bit down bad with some type of stomach bug, but I'm back. Thursday night football, got an interesting game, so I'll play some bets, hopefully win some money, and yeah, thanks for having me.
That is the goal. It'll be nice to win some money. I'm glad to hear you're feeling better. It will be refreshing to maybe win some bets this week. I am coming off, I think, what was a career bad day on Sunday. I was at one of my best friend's weddings in Chicago, and I was in his wedding party, so I didn't watch a snap of football, but I went 0 for 9.
That's always the worst. It's like, you didn't even get to, it's you open up the app and you're like, oh, wow, that sucks.
It was in Chicago, and literally I watched maybe 2 seconds, 2 plays, and right before I walked down the aisle, I was fortunate enough to see Mac Jones take a safety in the end zone, and I was on the Patriots end. So that was fun. Really set the tone for the night.
Ouch, that one hurts, yeah.
It really did. But
Michael Gallup really screwed me there on Monday Night Football. So, yeah, he made the no-bet list. Really just couldn't get one more catch. Just all those targets and nothing to show.
Disgusting. All right, before we get into tonight's game and some stuff we like on Sunday, we're about a third of the way through the season already. What's your biggest takeaway thus far?
One, it's been a little bit boring of a season. 2, I think that the gap between the bad teams and the good teams is so massive this year. And usually by this point, week 7, you know a little bit more of the identity of some of these middle tier teams and what to expect when your team is going up against them, even when you're looking at matchups to bet. And I think we have a lot of teams that I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're a good team. I don't know if they're a bad team. Haven't totally figured it out. And I don't think they know either. So it's been an interesting year. Fantasy has been absolutely awful to me this year. The injuries are absolutely brutal. So interesting year for sure.
It has been. A lot of unders are obviously cashing. I think last week we went 11-2, which was like the best in 20-something years. I think there's a real drop off in terms of quarterback play. And obviously offensive line play as well, which you know all too well, and we'll touch on before we end the stream. But all right, let's get into the week's games ahead. I'm going to pull up the Profit Exchange website.
Yeah.
Who is one underdog you're eyeing this week?
And I'm not going to come on here and be a homer. I think the Giants are an interesting play this week. Let me pull it up again because, like I was saying on my last stream, I'm like, wow, I have been out for the count for a little bit. Hold up. Let me pull this up really quick here. If my computer ever wants to load. What about you? Do you have one who do I have here?
I was just discussing this with some of my colleagues in the office before they all left. The board is absolutely vile. It's really
gross. Yeah, let's be serious.
There's no real underdog that like catches my eye, and there's like 2 or 3 usually. I really liked the Giants, honestly, before I saw all the injury news on the offensive line yesterday.
Yeah.
I actually gave out the Giants money line, which you could get right now plus 132 on Profit. I gave out the Giants money line in our weekly office locks that we throw on Instagram. So I'm very prepared to have some egg on my face there because that was filmed prior to the offensive line news. But I'll stick with it. You know what? Yeah. I'll take the Giants.
Yeah, I think that, it's interesting because some of these, it just feels very trappy this week, I think, to be fair. Like you look at some of these teams, the Lions just feel like the ultimate trap here for some reason. I know a lot of us, like I haven't been super impressed with what I've seen from Baltimore, but it's surprising to me to see the Lions as an underdog in this spot.
I don't mind. Yeah, that was the other one I was thinking of. Plus 138 on the money line, plus 3 at minus 110 currently. Yeah. I haven't been that impressed with Baltimore either, and they are coming back stateside after playing abroad. So
yeah,
intriguing always.
Steelers are maybe the only other one that would like kind of stand out, unless you want to really like swing for it and like go for the Vikings and hope that they can finally get an at-home win. But again, that's kind of ridiculous. You might need a couple of drinks before you're willing to place that money line bet. So Steelers would probably be the only other one coming off that bye that would intrigue me there. And they seem to just get lucky. Like there's something about these every game. They're sneaking out wins somehow.
It's crazy. I mean, their defense is really good.
Yeah, and that's
I'm not a Kenny Pickett fan or a believer, but it's just such a classic.
Back. Like there's things to like about this team. Again, this defense, they can win any game for them. So that might be the other place I look, but I'm not loving anything else. Packers, Broncos, gross. That's a gross game.
The board is disgusting. There's really
so bad. It's so much worse than I remember from when I did my Monday show. It's Raiders, Bears, and what are we doing here? Ew.
I mean, Raiders, Bears has some real potential for just slop. It's Tyson Bagent versus Aiden O'Connell.
God.
It kind of can't get worse than that.
No,
speaking of, I actually asked this question in the office earlier. Tyson Bagent, who's set to start his first game, NFL game on Sunday. He's played in D2. Who is the worst quarterback you've ever put your money behind? Ever?
Oh, I mean, I've put my money on. So I have this theory, and I've said this on a couple shows that I use when betting. So when a backup quarterback is set to make their first start, I always take them to cover. And it tends to work surprisingly because a lot of these teams, I don't know if it's that they don't have enough tape on these guys or what it is, but it stands strong. And it can be guys that have started before, but just that season, it has to be their first start. So, I mean, I've put my money on Glennon is probably the name that comes to mind. I can't believe I've ever done that. It's disgusting.
He was mentioned as one of one of my colleagues' choices. I said Ben DiNucci.
I've done that one before.
During the COVID year, there were some really wonky quarterbacks. There was truthfully probably 3 of the worst quarterback performances I've ever seen. Jake Luton, Ben DiNucci, and Kendall Hinton as well. And if no one knew this, the NFL actually once posted a compilation of Kendall Hinton's start, and quote unquote, it is called Kendall Hinton tries his best at quarterback.
It tells you all you really need to know.
Literally, just absolutely wild. They did that. I'm kind of shocked. Let's get back to tonight, and let's kind of dive into the Thursday night main markets. So there's still some news about Trevor Lawrence that hasn't come out yet. He's kind of a game time decision, and we'll find out in the next really 20 minutes or so if he's going to play. But the line has shifted from Saints -1 to now Saints -2.
Okay.
If you had to pick any total spread or money line, how would you play tonight?
I probably would lean, I hate the size in this game, I think, because there is so much up in the air. I probably lean taking the under here, and it feels like a very popular bet tonight. I think looking at either of these team totals and taking those unders might be where I head. Like the Saints team total under is very interesting to me. Saints D is also they've only allowed 20 or fewer points in 5 games. Jax, if you remove the Colts games, which we don't really love to do that, I'm not the one to take out bad games, but there's something to say about it. They're really only scoring 18.5 points per game. So I think that their team total is sharp. I think that this game goes under, which means this game is going to end up flying over. But I've found success as far as the total goes so far this year.
It seems like if you just bet the unders, you're probably going to be profitable. The Saints are 15-1 to the under in their last 16 games, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm not a Dennis Allen believer at all, but I did grab the Saints earlier in the week at -1. So I am now stuck with my position. I am not really sure how I feel about it because I think Trevor Lawrence is going to play.
Yeah.
But my thinking was the Jaguars are kind of coming off a tough stretch where they went to London for 2 weeks and just had a game at home last week, and now we're playing on a short week. So I think it's finally going to come out to bite them in the ass.
Yeah.
That was my thought process, at least. So
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think they had the 2 wins in London and then they came back. Everyone was like, oh, the Colts are definitely going to win. There's enough trends to talk about these teams that come back from London. Ended up, having a butt kicking against the Colts. And I think that it's kind of a nice little letdown spot, which some people would argue that Jacksonville has been somewhat like letting them down, I guess, because people were a little bit higher. I anticipate that they were going to start out somewhat slower, if that's what you want to consider it. But I think the Saints O-line is really like the only thing that slightly concerns me tonight. And other than that, I lean towards the Saints.
I like it. We're riding on the Saints. We're going to party in the Big Easy. One of the beauties of profit exchange is that there are two-way markets for everything.
Yeah.
Including props. So we don't have the widest selection of props available, but we do have 10 tonight. And you'll be hard-pressed to find better lines anywhere else. That being said, I want to quickly run through the 10 props we've had, and I want a pick in every single one of them.
Okay.
Alvin Kamara to score a touchdown. Yes, plus 146. No, minus 148. Keep in mind, it's plus 105 at DraftKings, so getting significantly more better value.
Yeah, I'm not usually one to take, especially when some books do these bonuses. I try to stay away from the guys that they have put in there, and I know that he is one of the bonuses for one of these books, but that's kind of too tempting of a number, especially for someone like him. So I would lean for yes on this, just because that number is very nice.
I would lean yes. It's a great number. My fantasy team would also like if he found the end zone.
Yes.
Derek Carr to have over under 245 passing yards.
Man, teams love to pass against this Jacksonville team. So here's the thing with Derek Carr is he either goes like over 300 yards or you get like a 190 out of him. So I do lean yes on this one. I hope that whatever that injury was is fine. But again, here I am thinking it's going to go under, and I bet you everything that I say here is going to feel like an over game.
Derek Carr over under 2 passing touchdowns.
Under.
I'm with you there, especially with the return of Mr. Williams, the vulture himself.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk to score a touchdown. My fantasy team would also love if he found the end zone.
What is the number on that? Sorry.
Plus 235, yes.
Okay.
Plus 210 everywhere else before I checked.
I just gave him out in a parlay on a stream before this, so I'm gonna throw a no here. I'll even out my playing field since I did just give it out elsewhere.
All right, I like it. Walking back your statements from prior streams.
Yeah.
Chris Olave to score a touchdown.
I want to lean no on this as well. What about you? My fantasy teams would like it. I just don't. I have had the worst fantasy year of my career. Like, I cannot even explain to you how bad I'm doing in fantasy this year. I cannot catch a break. The injuries are crazy. So I lean no, just because that's how my misfortune has been going this season.
I lean no as well. I can't trust the Saints offense at the moment.
No.
He's a superstar, and they kind of just don't use him as such. But
yeah.
Slant boy, Michael Thomas, over under 50 receiving yards. I like yes here.
I like yes too. He's been getting the ball. He also is one of the guys that has the most targets without a touchdown. It feels like, and every time I say someone's due, that doesn't end up happening. But I lean with you here on the yes.
Did you know that Michael Thomas is one of 8 NFL receivers over the age of 30 currently?
Really?
Yeah. Or 31. I forgot what it was, but there was someone who tweeted out like right before the season started. Now, my mind was kind of blown.
That is surprising.
Yeah. Kamara over under 50 rushing yards. I like the over here. I think he's going to have a big night. I'm hopeful, at least.
Yeah, I've taken his like receptions in places. This number is very smart. I lean yes too, but I understand the narrative for why this could go under, just given the Jacksonville D.
Mm-hmm. Etienne touchdown. The fantasy team I'm playing has him, so I hope he does not find the end zone.
So we'll just go with no for your fantasy team.
Let's do it. A 4-cent player prop market. It's beautiful. Plus 136 to find the end zone, minus 140 to not. Ridley, Olave, more receiving yards.
Really tore it up last week, didn't he? I'll go Olave on this one.
I'll take Ridley at plus 128 here. Just give me the dog.
Yeah, that's fair.
Last but not least, the opening kickoff to be a touchback.
It's always yes at this point, right? Is that
yes at minus 490. Do it. Why not?
Why not?
It could be an easy $100 win to just start.
Who knows?
All right, I would go yes as well. So 10 props. Before we move on, I want to call out that if you do request better odds on any Week 7 prop market, we will actually give you a bonus if it gets matched. So, for instance, if you request Kamara anytime touchdown at plus 175 for $100 and it gets matched, we'll credit you with a $25 bonus. Again, that's on any Week 7 prop market. What is one game this weekend that you will not bet on, but you're interested to see the outcome?
Let's see here. The Lions-Ravens is an interesting one. I know I brought it up before. Dolphins-Eagles is obviously going to be a hot game. I think that that's a big spot for both of these teams. Probably that game I would lean, because the rest of a lot of these games, a lot of them, they don't have these big implications at all.
There's no juice this weekend.
No.
Aside from Sunday Night Football. Who do you like to win on Sunday night?
I think the Eagles are going to win this game, to be honest.
I bet on the Eagles, so I hope you are correct. It seems like the weather might also be an issue and still a little suspect of Tua and bad weather. But a fun narrative game. Hurts versus Tua. So
I love it. Yeah. And I think also too, the Eagles, I keep saying this every week. I'm like, they're going to get right and we're going to see the dominant team that we have yet to see. I know Eagles fans are kind of in denial about that, but I don't think that the Eagles have shown us exactly what they can do. I think a lot of that has to do with personnel, and there's been a lot of changes, and that's fine, but they kind of need a get right game. And at some point it's going to come. This would be a nice week to do it, especially against a team who has also been labeled as one of the best teams in the league.
Yep. I mean, no better time than the present. But their play calling has kind of been less than
debatable.
They really miss Shane Steichen, it seems like.
They sure do.
I'm not complaining. The Jets beat them last Sunday.
Yeah.
So.
I'm cool with it. Like, I'm all for the Eagles not playing well. I don't care. I'm not rooting for them by any means.
When do the Giants play them?
We don't play them till week 16 and week 18.
Really? Twice in 3 weeks?
Yeah, it was like that last year too. It's so dumb.
Okay, well, that's a perfect segue. So, as I mentioned at the top of the stream, you are a diehard Giants fan.
I am.
Give me your unfiltered thoughts on the Giants currently.
They are extremely frustrating. With that being said, I think with some people getting healthy, aka Andrew Thomas, you have Saquon back, their win total has come down really far in a lot of books. And I think that you look at their schedule moving forward, and there actually is probably some wins on there. The coaching has made some very questionable moves a lot of these games, but I think you saw, at least at the end of the Cardinals game, a competent team. And then you saw during the Bills game, they did screw up that game and they found a way to lose it, because I think that the Giants should have, they were fully able to win that game and they decided not to. So the Giants still stink and they're not a good football team right now. It's really disappointing, because how many picks do you want to spend on the offensive line? The fact that they didn't address it is unbelievable to me. Like, that was my biggest concern going into this season. You looked at the depth and you didn't do anything about it. So now you're stuck to face the music and you kind of screwed yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of been just tough sledding between the injuries, the lack thereof of depth up front, and what seems like just musical chairs on the offensive line for the past 5-6 years. But same with the Jets. It just looks like the Giants are in a bit of a worse place up front in the trenches. What are your thoughts on Kayvon Thibodeau?
So I'm a big Kayvon Thibodeau person. People are very low on him, and that's fine. I think that fans have been way too harsh on him. He's still a young player. Sometimes it takes him a little bit to get going. He's like an easy person to hate in the New York media. Like, of course fans don't like him. That's okay. I mean, he has the most sacks on this team. So what are we really complaining about? I think that he's still like a bright spot in this defense, which doesn't look that bad either. That's the frustrating part.
Yeah, Wink has definitely made chicken salad out of some chicken shit.
Yeah,
Bobby Okereke has been amazing. He should be an all-pro alongside Quincy Williams at linebacker.
Yeah, I love it.
He's been great. Do you think the offense functions better with Tyrod Taylor?
I don't. I think that is a really like scapegoat response by a lot of fans. And I mean, you look at what happened before the half last week. As a vet that's been in this league for a very long time, Tyrod Taylor should not have made that. Was a massive mistake that's a rookie mistake to be making at quarterback. Like, there was no reason for it. I love people getting mad that Dable like reamed him out on the side. Like, obviously he did that. It was a really big mistake. I think that he also got the best O-line play that we've really seen this season out of the Giants. You have Justin Pugh, who was our first round draft pick in 2013. Like you said, straight off the ground. It's crazy. And then our left guard goes down and they just kick him over to left tackle and he plays better, and who we already don't even have a starting, or our left tackle goes down. We don't even have our starting left tackle, haven't had him for several weeks, and he just steps in, and it's some of the better play that we've seen out of this offensive line.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Jones believer, so.
Yeah. I don't know that I'm like, it's less about, I think at the end of the day, they paid the kid. So if you paid the kid, stop saying you're gonna, make sure you protect him, you make sure you get him weapons. Like, that's great and dandy, and you can say that, but you're not protecting him. So, oh no, my camera went out. Shit. I've been streaming all day. Crap.
Don't worry about it. We'll end here. Give us your Super Bowl pick before your camera runs out.
Super Bowl pick. I still think the Chiefs are going to run it back.
Chiefs against who?
I will do
Giants.
Yeah, right. I don't know. That's the side that I would say I'm very undecided about.
The NFC seems like
it's still up in the air.
I mean, I love the 49ers.
I do too, but something tells me that we might see a little history repeating itself, and it doesn't end up going the way that they want. Sorry.
They can stay healthy. They're my pick to win it all.
Yeah, I like
obviously, now they're starting to have the injury bug affect them.
Still early. It's still
Trent
early.
Williams, McCaffrey, and now Debo potentially all questionable on Monday. Should be interesting. But all right, you like the Chiefs to run it back. First back-to-back winner in 20 years. That would be.
Yeah.
All right. Smalls, thank you for doing this. Where can people find you? What do you have to plug? The floor is yours.
Yeah, at Stephie Smalls with 3 L's on Twitter. The Stephie Smalls Show is my deal on YouTube, Twitch. I'm on cross socials. You can just go to my Twitter. That's where I post everything. But this was great. I appreciate you having me on.
Awesome. We'll do it again soon. Have a great night and enjoy the game.
See ya.